All right, so because some people genuinely want to see the African American community prosper, the subject of unity always it comes up a lot with them. Why can't we be unified? And everyone always gives the same answer for the most part: division. Now, some people will say because of religion, because of the white man infiltrating us, blah blah blah. But the general consensus is because of division within us. And the thing is, and someone asked me, well, why do you think that is? What is the solution to the problem of division? My answer, the short answer, is because we don't love each other. And the reason why, the thing is, the conscious community promotes hatred. It encourages hatred towards white people. The thing about hatred is, not only if you hate white people, not only will you hate white people, you'll hate anything. You'll hate anyone that you feel is connected to them, right? And then hatred just spreads. Just think of a woman scorned, right? Who begins to hate men, and men do the same thing. I'm not picking on women. Think of a woman who's scorned and who becomes bitter at her ex for treating her bad and whatever. Does she just only stay angry at that one man? Or, it spreads. Hatred spreads. Hatred is a disease. It is a disease. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't reason to be righteously angry about things that have happened in the past. I'm not saying that things are okay and we shouldn't be upset by them, because I get upset by the same things that y'all do. However, unbridled hatred is consuming. You become hatred. Now, where does Christianity come in with this? Everyone knows that during the Dark Ages, everyone knows that there was a time in church history where the Catholic Church, they kind of did an Islam type thing where they were basically forcing people to join the church. I can't say become Christian. You can't force someone to become Christian. There was a time when the Catholic Church exerted their force and their power to take land and things like that. We know that. Against the teachings of Jesus. Anyone who's even read the Bible just a little bit knows that that kind of thing is against the teachings of Jesus. Now, early Christianity started off, when Jesus lived, he lived in an oppressive system. The Roman Empire had taken over that region, and the Roman Empire was, they had power over Jerusalem and Israel. So Jesus lived in a time that is similar to the time that we live now, where we feel as though there's a system of oppression. Well, we know there's a system of oppression. Christianity was birthed in a state of oppression, right? Religious oppression and political, because initially it was just a religious opposition from the Jews. But as Christianity grew, and because they were not, the Christians would not honor Caesar as Lord, they became a political nuisance at first. Not a threat, but a nuisance to the Roman Empire. But Christianity now is like the most popular religion in the world. Did that happen by force? No, it did not. And see, the thing is, so many people talk about revolution. We want to take what's SARS and the black man's going to rise to power. And see, the Jews tried that with the Roman Empire in AD 70, and they got destroyed. They got destroyed, right? Because the Romans had the power. And the Jews were going to rise up and fight our oppression or whatever. So the Jews, who were more in number than the Christians was just a very small band. At the time of Pentecost, there was only 120 Christians that were together. Now, there were probably some scattered throughout the world, but in terms of them as a group, there was only 120 Christians. So Christianity grew from that to being the most popular religion in the world. And its beginnings, its humble, Christ-like beginnings, had nothing to do with revolution or violence. The Jews tried it and got hammered. The Christians did not do that, and they prospered. And the reason why they did it is because of love. Their zealousness for God and their zealousness for each other in the midst of persecution, it changed the hearts of the entire Roman Empire because of love. Because they would kill Christians, they would crucify them, they would put them in the arena with lions and stuff, and watch them get killed. They would burn them alive. Nero, it is said that Nero, the ancient leader Nero, used Christians as lamps in his garden. Like, he lit them on fire and he hung them around his garden. How did Christianity survive all of that if it was not a political movement? And because it wasn't. Like, when you look at early Christianity, it was not a political movement at all. The thing is, you can't fight hate with hate. Your hate will just increase their hate. Now think about this. If somebody don't like you, right, for whatever reason, let's say they have a reason, whether they have a justified reason or not. If someone hates you and they increase their hostility towards you, is that going to make you like them? Is that going to make you take them seriously, like care about them? No. All you're going to say is this war. Even if they had a right, even if they really had a legitimate reason to really feel that way towards you, you're just going to retaliate. Look, I don't care what I did. Don't be trying to kill me. Don't be trying to do this or that. It's just war. Hate leads to hate. Hate cannot cure hate. Violence cannot be the answer to violence. It just begets more violence. It's just common sense. And I'm not trying to sound philosophical or anything. Just think about your own life. It don't work like that. Unless the other person's an absolute coward. It doesn't work like that. But what happened is, and this happens now with Christians and Muslims, the Roman Empire the Romans were amazed at the dedication that the Christians showed, and the Christians did not respond with hostility and hatred and retaliation. So it piqued the curiosity of the Romans, and eventually the Romans started to learn about the gospel. Why are you like this? Why are you loving us? Why are you praying for us? And we're killing you and you're praying for us. We're making you fight in our armies, but you're praying to your God for our safety. Why are you doing that? So they began to learn about the gospel and Jesus, and their hearts became changed. They began to see their own wickedness and their hearts changed. That is why when the civil rights movement occurred, right? It was necessary for innocent people to be shown on TV getting beaten and hosed down and bitten by dogs and stuff. That was a terrible thing to happen. And when I watch it, I just want to go punch somebody in the mouth. But that kind of thing was necessary because it shows, without any prejudice, it shows just how blatant the racism and hatred was that white people had for blacks back then. That there was no clearer picture. When you respond with anger and violence and that sort of thing, you know it gets spent. When people, think about the Black Panthers, think about the new Black Panthers, think about Black Lives Matter. Like, when we politically align and try to do things that way, at the very least, when it's like a militant thing, it gets twisted and distorted. However, not only with early Christianity, but with Jesus himself, Jesus did not resist when he was arrested. Jesus did not resist when they whipped him. He didn't resist anything. That is a powerful statement. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not saying that there is not a time to grab arms. I'm not saying that you should not be upset at things that happen. My whole point is, and I hope this makes sense to at least one person. My whole point is, hatred will not solve the problem of hatred. It cannot. Just look at where has a conscious community gotten, right? This is not a new thing. Like, a lot of y'all think that the conscious community is a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's been around for decades, right? And where have we gotten because of that? We've made progresses in society in this country because of other things, but not because of the consciousness of the black people. Now, I'm not saying that, it's wrong to learn about yourself and those things. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when it comes to the hatred and anger and hostility, most of the time you see that anger and hostility being redirected away from its initial target back onto ourselves. So you see people even in the conscious community tearing each other apart because the conscious community encourages anger and hatred. So that is why you see people as accomplice as Cy Nader and Umar Johnson. I believe his guy's name is Cy Nader. That's why you see people as accomplices them, or as widely known as them, resorting to hood tactics when they talk about each other. Because hatred is not the answer. Hatred is very rarely directed strictly at the object that it was originated. It spreads and you become a hater of all kinds of stuff, and it consumes you and it destroys you and it destroys your people. So just think about that. Christianity spread with a message of love. Yeah, later on it was taken advantage of and it was manipulated and twisted and all that other stuff. But at its beginning, in a society of oppression, not only religious oppression, but political oppression, Christianity still managed to flourish, and it took over the entire Roman Empire to the point where they made it the official religion. As some people say, it became the prominent religion, and then it did. Eventually, they made it the official religion, and that's when things started to get bad. But just think about that. You cannot fix hate with hate.